Well, hello and welcome to another motorcycling video. This is Friday riding is becoming a bit of a habit. What I'm doing today is riding the run. I'll explain that. What happened this morning is that I rode out along this is for local people, I rode out on Middle Arm Road to where it intersects with Norwood Road. And I ran along Norwood Road till it meets Marble Hill Road, and then followed Marble Hill Road till it intersects with the Crookwell Road, that being a total of about 4.43 kilometres. I then turned around and ran back, so a total of 8.86 kilometres, and ran a little bit further up Middle Arm Road to a total of a bit over 9 kilometres. Now, I'm not boasting about anything, I'm just saying that's what I did for my run this morning. And I used my DJI Action 2 camera to film that, and I posted the video yesterday where I was talking about the proposed ban on under 16-year-olds having YouTube accounts. So if you want to see the map of where I went and so on, then you'll be able to see it looking at that video. So I made the video of me running from one end of this Norwood Road, Marble Hill Road to the other, as I said, a distance of about 4.43 kilometres. And then I stopped recording, but I didn't turn the camera off. Now, one of the things about this camera is that it has a 64 gig micro SD card, which you can transfer files to. It has a 22 gig hard drive built into it, so you can record directly to the hard drive and then transfer your files from the hard drive to the micro SD card, so you can plug the micro SD card into your computer and all that sort of stuff. So it has plenty of storage, but the battery is only good for about 1 hour. So whilst it wasn't recording on the return journey, it probably took me reasonably close to 30 minutes to run from one end of from the start of my run to the turnaround point, meaning that I had obviously about 30 minutes or less than that of battery left. So then I jump on the bike and decide I've got to ride home. So I decide to ride along the very same route so you can see it from a different point of view. You get a bit of a sense of a wider sense of the road and maybe a bit of the sense of the undulation of the road and so on that I'm running on. Much easier to ride at 60, 70, 80 kilometres an hour or whatever it is than it is to try and run. It wasn't a lot of a headwind, but nevertheless, it's you're running uphill in some cases and then down the other side of it. So much easier to run it much easier to ride it than it is to run it. So then when I reached the end of Marble Hill Road, where it intersects with the Crookwell Road, that's directly opposite Kingsdale Wines, I took a left turn and decided to head back towards Goulburn. I think there's about 6 or 7 Ks of riding from there back to my home. Unfortunately, the battery in the camera gave up the ghost before I got all the way home, so I got to close to the nursery, and past the nursery, I think, just go up the hill on the other side of the nursery on the Crookwell Road, Fitzroy Street, and the battery in the camera was exhausted. So I filmed the section where I did the run, and if you're looking for a place to run where there's not much traffic, that's a pretty good one. As I said, it's a bit undulating, so that it doesn't matter which end you come from. If you come from the Crookwell Road, you're going to be running up Marble Hill Road till it intersects with Norwood Road, and then you're going to go down a dip on Norwood Road towards the gully, towards the creek, and then up the other side of it to come out on the Middle Arm Road. If you go the other way, you're going to be going downhill towards the gully and then up past the big homestead on the right-hand side, up a fairly steep hill, levels out for a while. So either way, it's going to be undulating, but there's not a lot of traffic on there. So it's a bit of an interesting run. It's something a bit different from running on the established footpaths and so on around Goulburn, which I often do, a bit out of the country. It's about, I think, 6 Ks and maybe 7 Ks from my home to that particular point. You might remember a week or two ago, I posted a video where I ran from the intersection of Mary's Mount Road and Middle Arm Road up to Norwood Road, and then I turned around and came back. So that's a total of 4.5 kilometres. I'm rabbiting on about all about these distances and running and so on, while I'm actually riding the motorcycle, because that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? If you have a look at the road there, and talk about the condition of roads around Goulburn a few times. Starts off pretty good. It's got some markings, it's reasonably wide, and it's got some pickets, and then once you reach the intersection with Marble Hill Road, it's not so good. And there are no markings. There are a few pickets, but not enough. And there's not much of a shoulder. And there's certainly no markings down the centre of it. Not a very long section, and it probably doesn't make a lot of difference in the daytime. But as I said, the importance of all those things, markings and pickets and rumble strips and all that sort of stuff, is at night time. They don't provide a lot of benefit in the daytime because you can clearly see your visibility is good, but it's at night time when you want better visibility. So then I came to the intersection of the Crookwell Road, turned left, going east back towards Goulburn. I had started off on this road going south, so from Middle Arm Road through to Crookwell Road, I'm going generally in a southerly direction. When I reached the intersection of Marble Hill Road and Crookwell Road, going west or to the right would take me to Crookwell. Going left or east take me back towards Goulburn. Obviously, turning around and going north would take me back where I started from. So I'm on the Crookwell Road. I crossed the Bermuda, I think it's called Bamana Creek, that's just around the corner there. And then, as you can see, that road is in pretty good condition. It's a major road between Goulburn and Crookwell, and I believe now that the state government is responsible for it. At one stage, Goulburn Mulwaree Council and I think Upper Lachlan Council, as it's called now, were responsible for that road, but certainly the section that was Goulburn Mulwaree Council's responsibility, they negotiated with Roads and Maritime Service or Department of Main Roads or whoever's in charge of that sort of stuff now, and said to them, this is a major road between Goulburn and Crookwell. It has a lot of traffic, and we think you should take over responsibility for it. And the government agreed to do that, but I think part of the condition was that the Goulburn Mulwaree Council now take over responsibility for two of the, or maybe one of the lanes, certainly some of the lanes on the main road that is in Auburn Street. The argument being that now, since the bypass has been built and not as much traffic goes down Auburn Street, then the wear and tear on the road in Auburn Street should be the responsibility of the council. Anyway, that's a bit of sort of arcane who's responsible for what kind of story. But so you can see that in parts the Goulburn and Crookwell Road is in fairly good condition. It's reasonably wide. The section I've travelled on here, you can see there aren't a lot of trees to cause any shadowing on the road and to be close to the road. It's open country, and for the most part there's a pretty wide shoulder on both sides of the road, and as I've commented before, there are those rumble strips on most of the sections of the road as well, and I find that they are very useful. I think they're a very useful thing because obviously at night if you're dozing off, and I'm not suggesting anyone drive while they're drowsy, but I know people do that unfortunately. If you're dozing off, when you hit on one of those rumble strips, they're going to make an awful rumbling sound, and that's going to wake you up. So the road going out of Goulburn, or in this case coming back into Goulburn, is in fairly good condition, and it looks like it's reasonably well maintained. Not lots of potholes, and certainly not lots of patches on patches. And for the most part, if you wanted to run, let's say, from Marsden Weir or from the Marsden Bridge down to Marble Hill Road, you could do so reasonably safely because the road is, as I said, pretty well made, and there's a pretty wide shoulder, so you could get off the road onto the shoulder if you could hear, when traffic was coming, and you could hear the traffic coming behind you. All right, well, that's filled in the time between getting on the bike and getting close to home, or at least getting close to the point where the battery's running out of juice. If you've got a comment or something you'd like to say about what I've said here, you know where to leave it. When I become aware of it, I will comment on it. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you when I'm making the next motorcycling video, whenever that might be. Probably next Friday when I go Friday riding again.